The first part of the movie introduces us to the main characters, Einar Wegener and Gerda Wegener. The couple is in an art show together. The couple's relationship is depicted as loving and supportive. A married couple living in Copenhagen in the 1920s. Einar is a successful landscape painter, while Gerda is a portrait artist. Gerda is meticulously doing her arts. She has a client at home. She is painting a portrait of a man. This man appears to be shy and does not want to be painted around other people, so her husband Einar stepped out and went elsewhere to allow Gerda and her client space. Einar went to see Ulla, a ballet dancer and friend of the Wegeners. He went there because he liked the feel of women's clothing. He feels an array of emotions seeing or touching anything with femininity. It seems euphoric for him and gives him comfort. Gerda is going to see Rasmussen, the gallery owner. Einar kissed and wished her luck before she left. Rasmussen rejects Gerda's portraits because he believes they lack substance. He tells her that it's not a judgment of her talent as an artist but her work lacked depth and right subject. Gerda frustratedly enters the room. She confronts Einar about not speaking to Rasmussen about her. Einar soon apologizes to Gerda, so as Gerda for her recent outburst towards him. During the conversation, Gerda attributes her behavior to feeling hormonal due to her period. Gerda is meeting a deadline. She has to finish Ulla's portrait, their ballerina friend. Gerda asks Einar to pose for a portrait she is working on. Einar initially hesitates but eventually agrees to put on the stockings and shoes. This is the pivotal moment in the film. As he models for Gerda, he begins to feel a sense of liberation and excitement, which marks the beginning of his journey of self-discovery and exploration of his gender identity. Ulla arrived shortly after. She named Einar Lily. Einar watched closely as Gerda undressed and noticed she was wearing new lingerie, to which he complimented her. Gerda joked that she might even let her husband borrow it. After attending Ulla's artist ball, the couple returns home and prepares for bed. However, they become intimate, and during the act, Gerda feels something inside Einar's clothing. To her surprise, she discovers that her husband is wearing her new lingerie. Some couples become experimental in their intimate life, so Gerda initially assumes that it's just a playful foreplay tactic. Einar is excited by Gerda's reaction and they engage in a role reversal dynamic in bed. Einar wakes up, he sees Gerda is sketching him whilst he's asleep. As a woman, Gerda's intuition begins to kick in, and she senses that something has changed in her husband. The next morning, the couple agreed to attend the artist ball together. Einar would come as another persona they've created, as Lily. Gerda helps Lily get ready for the artist ball. In the scene, Gerda is shown carefully applying makeup to Lily's face, selecting a dress, wig, and shoes for her to wear, and teaching the nuances of feminine body language. As Gerda works, she gives Lily gentle encouragement and reassurance, telling her that she looks beautiful. At the artist ball, the Lily persona received a warm reception from the other attendees, and some gentlemen seemed enchanted by her beauty. One of the people she met was Henrik Sandahl. Gerda witnessed Einar kissing and flirting with him. Gerda put aside her own emotional pain and took Einar home when she noticed him having a nosebleed. In the subsequent scene, it appears that Einar is pretending that he wasn't with Gerda the previous day. With a pained expression in her eyes, Gerda pleaded with Einar to prevent Lily from coming around anymore. That Lily has to stop. Gerda stated to Einar that their actions were merely a game, and that Lily was just a made-up persona of him. She's non-existent. Einar promises Gerda that he will try to control the emergence of Lily. Einar could no longer suppress Lily's emergence within him, as he felt her becoming increasingly dominant in his thoughts and actions. Einar and Henrik began meeting secretly without Gerda's knowledge, with the meetings becoming more frequent and intimate as Lily grew closer to Henrik. During one visit to Henrik's home, they kissed and Henrik attempted to become more sexually involved with Lily. Einar felt overwhelming guilt for lying and betraying his kind and loving wife. He could no longer bear the emotional turmoil, and returned home as Lily to confess his lies to Gerda upon her arrival. Gerda's heartbreak deepens. She sees the person she loves slipping away from her. After Einar confesses to Gerda that he has been seeing Henrik Sandahl, Gerda asks him if there are other men in Lily's life. He said Hans was the boy from his childhood that Lily once loved. Einar tries to reassure Gerda that she is the only person that he truly loves. Einar starts to feel unwell and collapses on the floor. Gerda accompanies him on his visit to a doctor. During the scene, it shows that Gerda's love for Einar is unconditional, even as she struggles to understand and come to which involves exposing the patient to painful stimuli or radiation. The doctor suggests that this condition is a mental illness or that Einar is insane, and he wants Einar to be institutionalized. When Gerda receives the mail from the doctor wanting Einar to be locked up, she immediately packs their belongings to go to Paris. Gerda's discovery of Einar's true situation, and the sense of loss and grief she's feeling for their marriage causes a surge of creative inspiration in her artwork, Rasmussen in with her in Paris. During their relocation to Paris, Einar and Gerda's relationship transitions into a more platonic friendship, as Einar begins to feel that she is a woman trapped inside a male body. Einar seems lost his way, he lost interest in everything, even on his art. As a result of Einar's gender dysphoria and the ensuing transition to becoming Lily, Einar began to look ill. Day by day, Einar is no longer able to feel sexual attraction towards Gerda. Despite this change in their relationship, she tries to be supportive of him, even when she struggles with her own pain when she's losing her husband of 6 years in plain sight. Gerda is uncertain of how to help Einar. She seeks Rasmussen's help to find Einar's childhood friend and Lily's first love, Hans Axgill. Hans is an art dealer. Their first meeting shows mutual attraction between Gerda and Hans. Einar's well-being is Gerda's priority and she could use the help of Einar's friend. Gerda arranges for Hans to meet with Einar, and when she tells Einar, Lily becomes delighted to see Hans again. In the next scene of the movie, Einar does not show up for the planned meeting with Hans. So Gerda invites Hans to their home to see Einar, but she got surprised to find Einar all dressed up as Lily and waiting for them. Lily's appearance at that night gives Gerda realization that Einar's gender identity is becoming more and more pronounced. Einar asks if Lily could spend the night in their bed. Gerda's selfless love has to give Einar what his heart truly desires, which is to be true to himself. As Einar begins to live openly as Lily, in an exhibit, Gerda has just achieved success with her artwork, but Einar was not there to celebrate with her. In his absence, Hans asks Gerda to accompany him to celebrate her accomplishments. Hans makes Gerda realize of her need as a woman need of supportive partner, and he highlights the pain she may be experiencing alone. She tries to put on a brave face for her guests, but eventually breaks down in tears in pouring rain. Gerda comes home to find Lily setting up the table for dinner. Gerda appears emotionally drained and is in desperate need of her husband Einar, to comfort her and to hold him. In this heartbreaking scene, Gerda begs Lily to let Einar's persona to come out, as it feels like Lily has taken over completely. It is a poignant moment that showcases the emotional toll that Einar's transition takes on both of them. Gerda goes to visit Hans at his apartment where she kisses him, but soon realizes that it was a mistake and that she still loves her husband. She acknowledges that their marriage has changed, but she is willing to adapt and support him on his journey. Einar, who has been struggling with gender dysphoria, visits various doctors to find a solution to their distress. Despite losing hope, Gerda encourages Einar to see the doctor recommended by Ulla, who specializes in treating people like Einar. They meet with German gynecologist Dr. Kurt Warncross, to whom Einar confides that he believes he is a woman on the inside, which Gerda agreeing to this statement. Dr. Warncross advises that he can perform a highly risky surgery, which involves 2 sets of procedures, and may result in complications and infections. However, if successful, Einar would be treated and become a full woman. Einar agrees to the operation enthusiastically, while Gerda, although hesitant about the risks, remains supportive of her husband's decision. Gerda and Hans wholeheartedly supported his decision. While Gerda was saddened by the thought of losing her husband forever, she was also concerned for Lily. She feels genuine happiness for Einar despite all the pain she has to go through. As the train left, Gerda was shown emotional. Upon Einar's arrival at the hospital, now dressing as Lily Elba, Dr. Kurt advised Lily to rest and regain strength. For a week before the surgery, this operation would be the first step of a long process. Lily is confident in her doctor's abilities and hopeful that the surgery will be successful, allowing her to fully transition and eventually have children of her own. The following scene shows Gerda visiting Einar. After the operation, Einar is shown recovering in the hospital, experiencing pain. Gerda's arrival seems to have eased the pain for him. Weeks after, the two have returned to Denmark, Upon their return to Denmark, Lily now openly live as a woman. She started working, gets a job as a sales clerk in a local department store and seems having the life he always dreamed of. Einar and Henrik have a conversation, during which Einar informs Henrik about the surgery he underwent. Gerda meets Lily at the marketplace when she is with Henrik, and Lily feels the urge to clarify their relationship to Gerda. The two have a discussion at home, during which Lily clarifies to Gerda that she and Henrik are not romantically involved in any serious way. Although their conversation becomes a bit heated, Lily eventually informs Gerda that she is now prepared for the second surgery and wants Gerda to come. Gerda quickly responds that Lily is not yet ready for the second surgery, as she is still recovering. However, Einar is determined and appears to have already made a decision. Lily proceeds with the second part of her surgery against Gerda's advice, but the doctor agrees to perform the operation. Gerda and Hans support Lily during the surgery, but the doctor informs them that the procedure did not go well and the outcome is not favorable. Lily is in the recovery room, looking very ill but happy. She tells Gerda and Hans that she finally feels like herself, and believes that God made her a girl, but there was a mistake in her physical body. Despite her condition, Gerda takes Lily outside in a wheelchair to get some fresh air. Lily is overjoyed, but unfortunately, she passes away soon after. This devastates Gerda. In the final scene, Gerda and Hans take a walk in Denmark and come across the 5 trees that Einar had painted earlier in the film. Gerda's scarf blows away in the wind and Hans tries to retrieve it, but Gerda tells him to leave it. The scarf floats above the beautiful landscapes that Einar had painted, symbolizing Lily's freedom.